The job market for millions of Americans is tough, but it's a lot tougher if you don't make a great first impression, and that starts with a killer resume. With us now to share some great tips on how to make your resume stand out from the crowd is Tony Beshara from Babich & Associates. Tony, you are the man when it comes to getting a job. Absolutely no doubt about it. I want you to tell me first things first. Tell me the rules of the road when it comes to a resume.
And most people don't realize that there's a few things. First of all, your resume doesn't really get read, it gets scanned. The first 3 or 4 people that are looking at your resume are scanning it. They're not reading it, especially if it's online. So it's not read like you think everything's read on it. It's not. You're competing with 180 other resumes, and they can delete yours just real quickly if they don't see what they like.
They want to see what they need right now.
And what they need to know is, where'd you work? How long were you there? What did the company do? What did you do there? And how successful were you at doing it? If you can communicate those, you're one step closer to getting an interview.
I love what you say, because I've seen so many resumes that are full of so much junk, and you can't figure out what's important here.
Right.
Now, I want to say to our viewers who were kind enough to send in their resumes, first of all, we're not going to completely identify you, A, and B, Tony has some tough love here. So be prepared for some harsh criticism, but it's going to make your resume better. So let's start with the resume from Kevin in Pennsylvania. Right. Now, Kevin's a young guy, as I recall.
Yep.
Tell me, he doesn't have a lot of experience to talk about.
No.
So what do you tell him?
Well, you expand on the experience you've got in Curtis Financial Group. But Kevin, brother, you didn't spell professional experience right. That's a misspelling.
Oh, there's a red line. A
misspelling is going to get you killed. People are going to look at this and they think, this old boy's graduating from college and he can't even spell. Delete him. So he's out. You know, that profile, it's okay, not bad. Some people may like lacrosse, some people don't. I'd be a little careful about that.
He talks about having a concussion, though.
Yeah.
Where does that get you?
Yeah, and I don't think personal stuff like that doesn't help. What helps is what'd you do, how'd you do it, and how successful you were.
One thing he put on here, which I thought was smart, he's got his GDP.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not so bad. That'll get him in. Remember, he's a kid, so he's getting right out of school.
Can you tell I'm an economics reporter? Right. GPA, that's his scores at school. Boy, I've lost my mind. It must be Friday. Let's talk about David in California here, because I thought this was really interesting and a really long resume from David.
David. First of all that stuff on the first page is going to get you axed. This is junk. It's terrible. Nobody cares about your MBA. Nobody cares about your work ethic. What are you going to put on a resume? I don't have one. I mean, that's lousy. So all of this thing, this first page, lousy. In fact, when they read that online, they're going to delete the thing because the first page doesn't say anything. And then maybe they get to the second page, which is somewhat reasonable. But the worst situation, the last page, he's got his picture on it. You're not getting a date. David, for God's sakes, you're getting an interview. So get that off of there. Nobody cares your smiling face. They want to know, what are you going to do for me today? And that doesn't help you.
Tony, at the top of this, you were talking about how the first page is cluttered. And if you can just zoom in on the top of that first page, the man has listed the coursework he's taken.
Academics care about that if you're getting your PhD, but the rest of the people don't. Remember, you're competing with 180 other resumes. They're looking at it and they're thinking, do I want to interview this guy or not? This one is out.
This guy actually has great experience. He's multilingual. He has a lot to sell. David, listen, kudos to you. But I want to show you have a video resume. We've got a little clip of that. Watch this.
Hi. My name is David Clanton. 안녕하십니까? 제 이름은 David Clanton입니다. I have an extensive background in management, international relations, 국제관계와 홍보에 관련한 다양한 경력이 있습니다.
So he's speaking Korean there, and he's showing you his language skills, and you say?
No.
Why not?
No. First of all, most people don't do video interviews very well. Just Google video interviews and see what you get. Most employers aren't even going to look at that. They're going to look at the resume and they're going to decide whether or not they're going to have him in. And the majority of the people that he's going to try to get a job with really don't care. I might want to say on his resume that he is bilingual, but that is not going to help him.
All right. There's one more thing I want to point out. We've got another resume from Neil in New Jersey. And I thought this was stellar because what he did, he's a salesman, right?
Yep.
So he tells this prospective employer, he says, hey, I actually grew our business 24%.
Right.
I managed a $10 million sales territory.
Right.
We grew accounts by 70. He's got metrics.
Yes. Numbers sell, stories tell. Okay, numbers on a resume are excellent. This guy's got a really good resume. The only thing that I could recommend that he would do a little differently is bold the percentages. If you increase sales 25%, if you were 150% a quota, but it tells who he worked for, what he did, how long he was there, and then if he could emphasize a little more about the successes that he had, he'd be just as well off. But this resume will get him an interview.
This resume, hey, Neil, you're in luck here. We like
Yep.
you. We have one more from Bob, and we just wanted to show this because it sure looks pretty, and it's got a good font. It's readable. It's organized well. What do you say?
This one is a very good resume. Bob is a consultant, and the technical consulting arena is a little bit different than the finding a permanent job arena. But it's very well written. It says exactly who he worked for, what he did, and the successes he had. This is a really good one. And he doesn't have that stuff on the top like objective. Objective is nuts. Your employer that's reading this doesn't care about your objective. He cares about his objective and writing down that your objective is what? Get a job? Come on, get it off of there. Nobody reads that stuff. And most of them are junk. Bob's done a good job.
Well, I think this was great advice. If you had one last word for people out there, what would it be? When you're looking for a job, you're putting that resume out. What do you say?
Follow up with a phone call to the people that you send a resume to. People think that the resume is going to magically get them an interview or get them a job. It's not. After you send the resume, pick up the phone and call somebody that you might be wanting to work for and sell yourself into an interview. Follow up. Don't just sit there and hit the send button and hope. As I've said before, hope is not a strategy. You got to send the resume, follow up with a phone call, and get an interview. That's what's going to get you the job.
All right, keep on keeping on. Tony Beshara, he is the leading job search person. If you want to know about getting a job, go to his website, jobsearchsolution.com. Check it out. He's got a lot of great advice for you. I know people out there have been looking a long time. It's really tough. He's got some great words of wisdom for you.